So, Butch Vig, I have a bone to pick with you.
Uh-oh.
You were my nemesis for the longest time. Only because after you became successful with that one record, bands who had never recorded before would drive right past my studio down to Madison to record at Smart, not because of the great gear, the engineers or anything, but they thought Butch would be walking through the hallway and hear their wonderful music and score them a record deal. So it was almost like, screw you, Butch Vig.
Well, that was a long time ago. As you know, sometimes having success is luck and timing, and we were really, really lucky to have the studio have projects like Nirvana that walk through the doors, and sort of when you have something like that happen, it opens doors and a lot of people, for better or for worse, want to come there and record. Somehow, sometimes they think they can sound like Nirvana,
Right.
or they can play drums like Dave Grohl, but that's not going to happen unless you're Dave Grohl.
Well, we both know that, there's great gear, but if you suck, gear's just going to make you more exposed. Yeah. Totally.
I mean, it's interesting because one of the things I talk to a lot of young musicians and engineers is it's still really important to be able to play, at least even on a fairly confident level. So many young bands I work with now know you can fix everything. So they'll just basically do one take and they want to go sit in the back and text, or whatever, get on the internet. And
Well, it becomes the engineer's record, not theirs.
It really does, yeah. So there's a certain craft, I think, to really trying to master your instrument. I'm still trying to master the 12-string. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm about a 2 right now.
All you need is 3 chords.
Well, that's really all I know at this point.
Well, I think all this like vintage recording techniques and stuff is the art of restriction. It's what you can't do, which creates the beauty and the performance and stuff. Even like with an old console like this. Like we're monitoring over here, but there's no, I can't EQ or pan or anything, which forces me to walk out in the room and make it sound better there before it even gets here.
Yeah.
And same thing when, in the old days with tape, editing wasn't an option. It never went in your head. You just knew, okay, I have to perform, and I have to play from the beginning of the song to the end, and that's it. And now it's kind of a whole different thing.
Yeah, I just finished making a new Foo Fighters album, and we recorded the whole thing on analog tape, and much as we did with Wasting Light, the previous album, we're all very aware that it's about performance. Mm-hmm. You can punch in into spots if you
fix stuff, something's wrong,
but you can't cut and paste sections, and you can't auto-tune things and put things on a grid, so it really forces the musicians to play really well and work really hard, and I think you can hear that in the tracks and the music.
But not only that, the band gets better every record they do because they had to go through that process.
Yeah.
So a band, say the Foo Fighters have been doing this for so long that, I'm sure their skill level now compared to 20 years ago is two completely different.
They're a badass players.
Yeah, definitely. And I know that, when people record a lot, even at home, they're better because they have the mirror up and they go, okay, this is what I need to work on and so forth. So it's an important process. Consoles. You had, back at Smart, you guys had a vintage console that came out of Cherokee, was it?
We had a Trident A-Range, which sounds amazing. I think they made 13 of them, and we had number 13. And it originally was in Trident, then it went to Cherokee. And then I think it was in Nashville for a couple of years, but didn't really get used. So we got a pretty good deal on it when we bought it and brought it into Smart Studios.
At that point, did you have to restore it, or was it still new enough to kind of...
It was old, and so you had to, this isn't working.
My old knee was like that.
Yeah, you got to bang on it sometimes. There was always, it seemed like 1 or 2 channels missing that were in the shop getting fixed, but it just has a thing, it's, you can't get that in, even the plugins, I think, that try to emulate those old consoles and channel strips, they're close and they sound good, but there's something about going through analog circuitry that really has a magical sound. Part of it, I think, is just the harmonic build-up in it. It's different than digital emulation. And I love them. I love old APIs. I love Neves. I love the Trident A-Range. And whenever I can in the studio, that's what I prefer to work on.
Yeah, there's definitely a magic, and it doesn't feel innate to me. It feels like something's really going on here with the music and the electronics, and it's all
it's cool to hang out behind.
It is.
We're both studio
Look how cool
rats.
we look right now.
We're studio rats.
Yeah.
Most people probably don't care, but it's cool to be sitting behind a...
Well, they are designed kind of like a bar stool.
Yeah. Yeah, but don't put your beers and the peanuts on the console.
I think someone had You got some spills?
Oh yeah, I'm
somewhere.
sure. If you open this up, there's probably a lot worse things than that underneath it.
I could probably make some money with some of the areas in there. Yeah. So that's about it. Just want to say
man.
thanks for coming down and spending some time with us. The Emperors sounded amazing today, and they're just going to get better for. When's the show tonight?
9.
9 o'clock.
9
Yeah.
o'clock, yeah.
At the Extra 92.
Oh, that's a brand new club. They just opened it up as a music venue.
All right, cool.
It seats about 500, and
Cool.
it's going to. I haven't been there yet. I've been just hearing about it for a year.
Cool.
So that's.
Well, I mean, I was sort of serious when I just told Gene this is really cool. The reason, really, Mild Music is the reason we kind of got together when Frank invited us. It just sounded like kind of a perfect fit for our music, and I, being from Wisconsin, I like these kind of grassroots things. You know, like the studio and like Wendy's film, the Smart documentary. It's all very do-it-yourself, you know. And you know, I've been to South by Southwest in Austin, which is great, but there were 350,000 people there, and it's just such a corporate beast now. And this is kind of what that was 20 years ago. So it's really cool to be part of it.
Well, everybody is so excited about it here because it's never happened. And like last year was the first year, nobody knew what was going to happen, and it ended up being the largest event in Appleton history.
Wow, see, that's cool.
There were bars that ran out of alcohol before the thing was done.
Well,
They
that's
actually-
hard to do
in Wisconsin.
bar.
They had to close their doors, and now everybody, the sponsors and the business owners and stuff, now they believe. Now it's getting bigger and bigger. And I just drove down College yesterday afternoon beforehand, and you could already feel the energy. It's like the town is on fire.
Yeah.
And
And
I
I
really
looked at
appreciate it.
I looked at the roster, and there's a lot of Midwestern bands, a lot of local bands, but also bands from all over the country.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really cool thing.
Absolutely. All right, I'm gonna let you go.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks a lot, Butch.
Right on.